Hi everyone, welcome to Rhyme Storytime. The word of the week is strangers. So, what is a stranger? A stranger is anyone that you do not know or your family doesn't know well. You should always check with your parents if you're unsure if someone is a stranger. I never talk to strangers. For those that I have not met in person, I am a stranger to you. There may be times where you need help from someone you don't know. If you need help, you should find one of the following people: a police officer, a firefighter, or a teacher. Remember, never leave your yard, school, or the playground with anyone that you do not know. Now, let's read a book about strangers. It's called Never Ever Talk to Strangers. In it, a little cub has an interaction with a stranger. Never Ever Talk to Strangers by Anne Marie Pace. Climbing down the school bus steps, Jamie opened his jacket so Mom could see the shiny badge Officer Crane had pinned on Jamie's shirt during the school assembly. Super Safety Expert. Congratulations! While he ate his snack, Jamie told Mom all about the rules Officer Crane had taught them. Strangers are people you don't know. If a stranger talks to you, you should yell and run away. And Mrs. Otter hung my Never Talk to Strangers poster on the wall, he said. Later, Mom needed to clean the garage, so Jamie went to the backyard to kick his soccer ball. Whoosh! Jamie's first kick sent the ball bouncing into the net. Whoosh! So did his second. Whoosh! His third ball soared over the net. It landed in the yard of the empty house next door. Jamie slipped through a gap in the fence to retrieve it. Looking for this? A voice said. Jamie jumped. No one had lived in that house since the Wolf family moved. But someone Jamie had never seen before was holding the soccer ball. Thanks, Jamie said, stretching his hand out for the ball. Jamie took a couple of steps forward, but then the afternoon sunlight glared off of Jamie's chest and he remembered his shiny badge. His tummy started to do flips. Who was this person? And what was he doing in the wolf's backyard? Jamie froze. This was a stranger. What had Officer Crane said to do about strangers? You're a stranger! Jamie yelled as he dashed back through the fence. Mom! Mom! He ran towards his back porch and leapt up the steps. Inside, he slammed the door and turned the lock. He leaned against the door. His heart was pounding. Mom rushed into the kitchen. Jamie! She cried. I heard you yelling. Seeing Mom made him feel safer. I talked to a stranger, he told her. Then I got really scared. Mom hugged him. Everything's fine now, buddy, she said. You're safe. Jamie looked down at his badge. But I'm not a super safety expert. I broke Officer Crane's #1 rule. Never talk to strangers. The doorbell rang. Hold on, Jamie, Mom said. We'll talk more in a minute. She stood up and walked to the front hall. Jamie unpinned his badge and stuffed it in his pocket. He didn't want to wear it anymore. Mr. Fox, Mom said. Her voice sounded cheerful. How good to see you. Jamie peeked around the corner. It was the man from next door. Why was Mom letting a stranger into the house? And why was Mom smiling at him? I've been unpacking and I wanted to say hello, Mr. Fox said, and I brought back this ball. Jamie ran into the hall and tugged Mom's skirt, pulling her ear down to his mouth. Mom! That's a stranger! Don't let him in! Never talk to strangers! For a moment, Mom looked confused. Mr. Fox isn't a stranger. He was my piano teacher when... Suddenly, Mom paused, nodded in understanding. I see what you mean, Jamie. I've known Mr. Fox since I was a little girl. But of course, he's a stranger to you. Mr. Fox stretched out his hand. I'm sorry I scared you, Jamie, Mr. Fox said as they shook hands. I shouldn't have talked to you, Jamie said. I didn't know you yet. Mom knelt down beside Jamie. You did talk to a stranger, Jamie, and I could see why you're upset. But let's talk about the things you did right. Jamie thought, then began counting on his fingers. When I realized he was a stranger, I stopped walking towards him. Then I shouted I didn't know him, and I yelled for a parent. He touched his third finger. Then I ran away as fast as I could, got inside, and locked the door. You did exactly the right things, Jamie, Mr. Fox said. I hope we can be friends, now that your mom has told you it's okay. Why don't you show Mr. Fox your badge, Mom said. Jamie slowly pulled the badge out of his pocket and handed it to Mr. Fox. Mr. Fox turned it around and admired it. "This is a mighty fine badge. May I?" Jamie nodded, and Mr. Fox pinned the badge back on Jamie's shirt. "I happen to have a delicious apple pie next door," said Mr. Fox. "Now that we're friends, would you and your mom like to come over for tea?" Smiling, Jamie nodded. It was good to have a new friend. It was even better to know he had done the right things, and it was awesome knowing that he was a super safety expert after all. Officer Crane says, "A stranger is someone who you don't know. Most strangers are nice, but a few of them are not. Because we can't tell who is nice and who is not by looking, it is very, very important to let your parents or the grown-ups who take care of you tell you whether or not it's okay to talk to someone you have never met before." Here are Officer Crane's rules for stranger safety. 1. Always stay with your parents or babysitter. If they give you permission to be somewhere alone, your backyard for example, stay there. 2. If a stranger approaches you, back away. If the stranger comes closer, run away and yell, "I don't know you, you're a stranger," just like Jamie did. 3. Never go anywhere with a stranger. Sometimes strangers might offer you treats or ask you for help. You shouldn't take anything from a stranger. And if a stranger asks you for help finding a lost pet or a certain house in your neighborhood, don't do it. Adults should ask other adults for help. 4. You might have to talk to a stranger if you get lost in a busy place, like a grocery store or the mall. Stop walking and look for a mommy with kids or a person who works in the store behind the cash register. Tell them that you are lost and you need help. That person can help you find a police officer or your parents. Jamie knew that his new neighbor was a stranger, and he remembered what Officer Crane taught him at school. He told his mom right away, and she was able to help him. Remember to check out all our stories and songs on the website under Rhyme and Storytime. Now, let's sing a song that we sang in Circle Time. It's called "I'm a Little Teapot." You can go to our website to download the song list. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle and here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. Rhyme and story time is over for today. Remember to always talk to your parents about staying safe from strangers. Join me next week for the theme of imagination. Thanks for watching. Bye!